What's been going wrong lately?
Well, you start out the preseason, not preseason, but the pre-conference game. You play teams that aren't as strong as this conference. This conference is GLVC is a meat grinder, Randy, and they've gotten into this meat grinder conference, and they haven't had games as easy as they had in the first half of the season.
Both these teams coming in with very similar records. The Dons 9-7 overall, Northern Kentucky 9-8. They are both 2-5 in the conference. That points out what you were just saying, how tough the conference is compared to the non-conference schedules. They're tied for 6th. What are the players going through now? How do they keep focused, after a 2-5 start?
Well, I guess I hate to be an authority on this type of subject, but I am. I'm an authority on that, and what IPFW and this Northern Kentucky team has to do, they have to stay focused. They've gotten beat by some very good teams. Ashland, for instance, was ranked number 1 in the nation. Kentucky Wesleyan, the defending Division II national NCAA champions. So you're getting beat by some pretty good teams. Southern Indiana, a team that's beaten a Big Ten team in Wisconsin. So you can't put your head down, Randy. You have to stay up for this, and some of the players have to make an assessment within themselves. What can they do, or are they doing everything to improve the team, to help the team as much as they can? And then collectively as a team, they need to have a meeting and make sure they're doing everything as a team to make sure they don't get their heads down and keep playing together.
Well, hopefully they'll be a little more up tonight. To find out the starting lineups, let's go down to the floor and hear from PA announcer Mark Bank.
Multi-purpose Athletic Center, and tonight's GLVC game between Northern Kentucky University and your IPFW Mastodons. First, the starting lineup for Northern Kentucky. At one guard, a 6'3" from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 22, Greg Felia. A 6'3" guard from Toledo, Ohio, number 30, Jimmy Matthews. A 6'8" center from Cincinnati, Ohio, number 43, Todd Svoboda. A 6'5" forward from Erlanger, Kentucky, number 33, Brian Shea. And a 6'4" forward from Shelbyville, Kentucky, number 44, David Marshall. The head coach of NKU is Ken Shield. He is assisted by Pat Ryan. And now the starting lineup for your IPFW Mastodons. At one guard, a 5'10" freshman from Greenwood, Indiana, number 4, Jeff Smithy. At the other guard, a 6'1" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 12, Clarence Rich. At the center position, a 6'7" sophomore from Lanesville, Indiana, number 41, Sean Gibson. At one forward, a 6'1" junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 32, Kevin Shank. And the other forward, a 6'4" junior from Shelbyville, Indiana, number 24, Tony Martin. The head coach for IPFW is Andy Piazza. He is assisted by John Felsky. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we honor the Stars and Stripes of America, let us take a brief moment of silence to offer up our prayers and thoughts to our troops and the troops of the Allied forces in the Persian Gulf. And now, our national anthem.
Okay, Charlie, we're just a couple of seconds away here from tip-off. How's your feeling about the Dons tonight? Have you been watching them practice at all lately?
Yes, I've seen them practice, and I've talked with Coach Piazza and Coach Felsky. What the Dons are going through right now, a little bit of growing pains. They've lost some players since the last time we telecasted. Some players have stepped into more playing roles since the last time we've telecasted. Particularly Sam Long has started to play a major part in the Dons scheme of things.
Also, Kevin Shank and Tony Martin starting tonight. That's a little unusual. Dons are really going to be outsized this evening. Jumping center will be number 43, Todd Swoboda, for the Norsemen of Northern Kentucky against Sean Gibson for the Dons. Refs ready to toss it up, and here we go live from IPFW. Glad you can join us here on College Cable Access, Channel 6. Jeff Smithy controls the tip, gets it over to Tony Martin. Little pressure, gets it back to Smithy, drives the lane, lays it up, and in. And the Dons grab the quick 2-0 lead. And the Norsemen going to be much bigger. The man to look out for is Jimmy Matthews, number 30. He's their leading scorer, just over 17 points a game. Their other guard, number 22 at the ball, Greg Filia, scores about 10 a game. Shot there, no good by Matthews. Long down court, Gibson all alone. I think we're going to see the stuff. No! Knocked away from behind by Matthews. Shank comes up with it. Gibson looking for the foul there, doesn't get it. And Clarence Rich throws it away. Matthews has the ball for the Norsemen. He'll slow it down. Gets it back over to Filia. And you have Filia and Matthews in the backcourt. Up front, you have number 33, Shea, number 43, Todd Swoboda, and that man with the ball in the bucket, number 44, David Marshall. Marshall also averages right around 14 points a game, second leading scorer on the team. Kevin Shank for the Dons, looking inside to Gibson, gets it to him. Nowhere to go, out to Smithy. Back to Martin. He'll pass on the three. Drives the middle. Short jumper. Off the glass, no good. Swoboda with the rebound. He averages over 8 a game, the leading rebounder for the Norsemen. And they're going to call a offensive foul on David Marshall. Hooking around with the arm there. That's one that's committed a lot, Charlie, but they don't call it all that often, do they?
And Gibson's looking at his arm like, yeah, he fouled me that time. Then I got fouled on the other end when I was going up for the slam the last time.
You see that move all the way through the pros where you hook the guy with the one arm and you go around him. It's a great move because normally it's not called. Jeff Smithy gets some pressure from Greg Filia, gets it across the timeline into the corner. Clarence Rich up top. Martin over to Shank. Thinking about the three-pointer. He'll drive the middle. Nice pass to Martin. Reverse layup. Scored for the Dons. They grab the lead 4-2. Good penetration there by Kevin Shank. Set up the play.
And also a great move by Martin to use the rim as a shield so the defender cannot block the shot.
David Marshall harassed by Shank. They're going to call a foul. Kevin doesn't agree with that one. His first foul, team's first. Ball will go out of bounds to the Norsemen. Number 22, Greg Filia, will inbounds the ball. As soon as everybody gets set, ref says, let's go. Gets it into Swoboda. Martin wasn't paying attention on the defense, so you've got to look. You got to know where the ball is, Charlie. He had his back turned.
Exactly, especially when you have a tough, physical, active player such as Swoboda. You read the stats, and you've probably seen film on him. You have to pay more attention on the inbounds play than Tony Martin just did.
Swoboda, third leading scorer for the Norsemen, 11 points a game, leading rebounder at just over 8 a game. Let's see how he shoots free throws. First one's up, and he gets the roll on that one. Cuts the lead to 1. Dons lead it 4-3. We're just about 2 minutes into the ball game. Second shot is perfect. Tie game, 4 apiece. Smithy against some pressure. Got 3 seconds to get it across. He does it. Drives down over to Shank. Fakes the 3. No foul. Drives baseline. 8-footers. Good. Good to see Kevin Shank get that first one. He's a guy who needs confidence in his offense, Charlie.
Exactly. That's a great move on the fake. And in the past, Kevin would fake that three-pointer and not come back with another offensive move off the fake and off getting the defender off of his feet. But he did a great move that time.
Filia, truly the point guard, definitely runs the show for the Norsemen. Shot by Marshall's no good. Almost stolen by Filia. Martin comes up with it. Looking for someone. There's Rich open for the 3. Passes it up. Clarence, a good three-point shooter. He's got it this time. He'll take it. Perfect. Didn't feel it the first time. Nothing but net on the second one. And 3 minutes into the ball game, the Dons lead it 9-4. Definitely a very nice start for IPFW right now. Matthews has it in the corner to Shea. He hits the jumper. cuts the lead to 3, 9-6. Once again, the Norseman with the press. Smithy taking it on himself. It's man press. Want to dribble against that one. Smithy, great pass underneath to Sean Gibson for the easy layup. Right now, Charlie, the Downs are doing everything right.
And it's good to see Sean get into the offense early. He's been playing very well as of late. And as a matter of fact, he's the president of the GLVC chairman of the boards, leading at a 9, just under 10 rebounds a clip.
Nice turnaround basket by number 44, David Marshall. That's his second of the game. Downs still lead it 11-8. Kevin Shank in the corner out top to Martin. Rich wide open for the 3. Same spot he hit one from before. 2 for 2 for Clarence. He's got 6 quick ones. Downs lead it by 6. 14-8. Downs have only missed, I think, one shot, Charlie. The one that Sean Gibson missed on a layup that he got knocked from behind by Matthews. Bad pass by Matthews, stolen by Clarence Rich to Smithy. Kevin Shank for the layup. Good. Make it an 8-point lead, 16-8. This is the best I've seen IPFW look all season. And the Norsemen are going to call a timeout. Good move by the coach there.
And Randy, the thing about it is they're doing all this offensive scoring without any quote-unquote scores in the ball game, except maybe Sean Gibson, and he's more of a complimentary player as opposed to a flat-out scorer.
Well, Clarence Rich can score, but he doesn't like to shoot a lot. He's hit the 2 3-pointers to start. Okay, right now we're going to listen to IPFW head coach Andy Piazza telling us about Northern Kentucky.
They're 8-7 right now overall. They're tied with us for 5th place in the conference. They're a very athletic team. They have a lot of quick, athletic type players, 6'4", 6'5". They shoot the threes, off-press offense on secondary breaks. They're not afraid to shoot from the perimeter in their early offense. Svoboda's 6'8", 230, their low post player. He's a big, strong kid inside, started last year. They have everybody back from last year's team except for George, so they're a veteran team. They played well early in the year. We all went over and saw them beat Edwardsville really bad. They went to Hawaii and played 3 games. They have a very nice program, nice budget, and the coach is doing a tremendous job with them. They're coming off a big victory. They beat Kentucky State 94-71, and we lost to Kentucky State at their place pretty bad, so we're going to have our hands full.
Nick Pangello, number 10, has checked in the lineup for Northern Kentucky. He replaces Greg Filia at point guard. So a shot there, no good, and Sean Gibson tipped it out of bounds, so it'll go back to the Norsemen. They've got a fresh shot clock, 45 seconds. They trail it 16-8. Downs out in front, 3-pointer by Matthews, no good. Rebound Clarence Rich, stolen by Matthews, and they're going to call traveling. We're 4 minutes and 34 seconds into the contest here at IPFW. Downs lead at 16-8. Everything going right now for IPFW. Martin just beats the 5 count, gets it into Clarence Rich. And he'll break the press this time. Drives right down the middle. Dishes it off to Kevin Shank for 2. Foot was on the line. Kevin, 3 for 3 tonight. 6 points for Kevin Shank. That might be his eye of the season right now.
And this early in the ball game, it's great to see Kevin get off to this great of a start. That's going to pick up the other facets of his basketball game.
Yeah, we've mentioned it in all the games we've carried this year. Kevin, when he doesn't hit a shot early on, gets very tentative, and he doesn't like to shoot. Sean Gibson's picking up a foul here. That'll be the 3rd team foul on the Downs. Sean's first.
And Kevin usually plays a very good floor game, but doesn't do a lot of scoring. And if he can pick up his scoring end of things, that'll magnify all the other little things that he does for the Mastodons.
He's a good passer. He really has a nice shot, but it's like we've been saying, if he doesn't hit one early, he gets real hesitant about shooting. It's Swoboda at the line with a couple of shots, misses the first one. But Andy Piazza loves Kevin Shank. He's a hard player. He practices hard. Very good defender. And if he can get some offense out of him, ooh, that's a bonus.
And that's what Kevin has to do. If you're in that ball game, you have to stick that little 15-foot jumper, and if the defense gives it to you, you have to knock it down.
Swoboda's second shot, no good after he hit 2 for 2 before. He's checking out of the lineup now. Number 34, Jeff Blank checks in. We also have number 24, Ron Marbury, in for the Norsemen. IPFW, no changes so far. Very unusual for Andy Piazza. He usually substitutes all over the place.
They haven't had any need for any changes as of yet, Randy.
Jeff Smithy with the long pass to Shank. He throws it out to Clarence Rich. Inside, great pass to a cutting Tony Martin. Give the assist to Rich. Everyone thought he'd fire up another three. Dons up by 12, 20-8, 5 minutes and 20 seconds into the ball game. Pangallo with the left-handed runner, no good. Gibson the rebound. He had Kevin Shank but couldn't get him the ball. Clarence Rich did not touch it. Out of bounds off of number 34. Kenny Brown, the Dons will keep it. No, now the refs change their minds.
That's a good call. I was just about to say the Dons got a break on that one, Randy, because that ball clearly went off the hands of Clarence Rich.
I'm marking this on my scorecard right now, Charlie. Charlie complimented the refs one time this season. So if anybody ever says Charlie's always getting on the refs, never says anything good, well, he did it one time this year. We've got it etched in stone. Matthews outside. They got to get some points out of him. 17 a game. Inside, they're going to call a foul on Smithy, grabbing Nick Pangallo. That, I believe, is going to be the second foul on Jeff Smithy. Fourth team foul already on IPFW, so getting close to giving some free throws away to the Norsemen.
You just noted about the Norsemen have to get some scoring from Matthews. Right now, he's forcing the issue. He's taking a couple ill-advised three-point shots.
Pangallo, great fake. No good with the left-handed jumper. Now we know why he took that running layup with his left hand, because he's a lefty. Ball out of bounds. It's going to go over to IPFW.
And this small lineup doing very well on the boards.
Extremely well. Boxing out very well. You know, it's a fallacy that you've got to be a big guy to be a rebounder, because Charles Barkley in the NBA is about 6'4.5", and he's as good a rebounder as there is. The Dons turn it over there, stepping out of bounds.
And Randy, what some people don't realize is 80 to 85% of rebounds are grabbed below the rim.
I was going to say, I remember seeing old Red Auerbach, who used to be the great coach for the Boston Celtics when they used to have red on round ball. He used to say that 95% of rebounds are grabbed below the rim.
Well, I just said that with the new athletes coming in, the way the game's changed, some rebounds are grabbed above the rim, but you may be right.
You don't have to be a jumper to rebound. There's Pangallo, drives the lane, gets the basket, cuts the lead to 10, 20 to 10. It's position, it's boxing out, keeping your man away. If he's boxed out, he can't go. If he goes over you, it's going to be a foul.
Exactly. And a lot of that, some of it's instinct also.
Sean Gibson driving baseline, dishes it to Shank, passes up to three, drives in, outside Smithy for three. No good off the front. Clarence Rich with the rebound, puts it up, he gets fouled. You know, another thing, Charlie, a lot of times it's easier to rebound when you're playing man-to-man and not zone, because when you're playing man, you can box out one guy. When you're playing zone, a lot of times you get lost who you're supposed to box out.
Exactly. You're assigned an area, Randy, and sometimes there's no guy in that area, so you're stuck just standing there. Then you may have two guys boxing out one man and then one free guy for the opponents.
There's the replay. You see Rich sneaking in for the rebound. They're playing zone. Nobody to box him out. He gets fouled. Clarence hit his first free throw. By the way, the foul was on number 34. Kenny Brown, his first, team second. Rich's second free throw, no good. Dons with an 11-point lead, 21-10. Just about 7 minutes into the first half. Glad you can join us here on College Cable Access Channel 6. Randy Schiffman and Charlie Washington bringing you IPFW basketball. David Marshall with the three-point basket. Makes it an 8-point lead for IPFW. We're going to see our first substitution for the Dons. John Honstrider getting ready to check in. Martin driving. He gets fouled. Let's see who the ref gets on this one. I think it's going to be number 44. They're going to call it on number 30, Jimmy Matthews, his first 3 team fouls. Number 23, Dwayne Shears, also checking in for the Dons. Taking a seat, Tony Martin and Kevin Shank. There you see the foul. Kevin Shank, terrific game so far.
And Tony Martin played well also.
Yeah. A couple of assists too, I believe. Inbounds pass to Honstrider, outside to Clarence Rich. It was tipped away, so that is no backcourt violation. Matthews tipped it. Smithy's got the ball now. Over to Shears, drives inside, gets a good pick from Honstrider, can't hit the 6-footer. And it's Marbury with the rebound for the Norsemen. Gets it to Pangallo. In the corner, Matthews, very quiet, their leading scorer. Outside Brown. Inside, stolen away by the man with the quickest hands, Clarence Rich. 3-point try by Matthews, no good. And the little guy, Jeff Smithy, gets the rebound. Bad pass. Brown's going to get the jam on this one. That is 5 unanswered points for the Norsemen. The lead down to 6 now. IPFW 21, Northern Kentucky 15. I have no idea who Dwayne Shears was throwing that ball to, unless it was the referee. He was the only one within about 10 feet of the pass.
And if it was to the referee, it was a bad pass.
Mike Pittman in now for Jeff Smithy. There's the steal and the dunk by Kenny Brown. He was almost missed that dunk. He took it from a little ways out. A little feeling on that.
He got that dunk on an ill-advised pass by Jeff Smithy. Smithy, a small man, should know better than to try to go over the top of a taller opponent.
Well, and he had two guys, too, right in front of him. That was not a good play. Kevin Shanks also checked back in for IPFW. So now you've got Pittman, Shank, Rich, Honstrider, and Gibson out there. Pangello, lefty jumper, not even close. Honstrider tips the rebound to himself. Gets it off the clearance. Rich, 1-on-3. Is he going to challenge him? I don't think so. Pittman over to Shank. He tries the three. Just a little strong, gets his own rebound, drives inside, puts it up, no good. Shank may be a little too confident right now. That three, he was a couple of feet behind the line when he let it fly, caught the back of the rim, did do a nice job by getting his own rebound. There you see Kevin get his rebound, good fake, drives right by. He might have used the backboard on that shot, Charlie. I think he would have made the layup.
He had a tough angle, and plus the left-hander wants a nice, pretty finger roll, so we can talk about it up here, Randy.
Got to use that backboard. The coaches go nuts when you don't use backboard on layups, unless you're Magic Johnson with the finger roll. Good entry pass, but knocked away. Shank makes up for his bad offense with some good defense. Foul was on Kevin Shank, by the way. He's got two right now. Clarence Rich for three. No good, but he gets fouled. And that's going to be a three-shot foul. They're going to say that was during the act of shooting. Foul on number 34, Kenny Brown. That's one of the new rules we have in college basketball this year. If you get fouled while attempting a three-point bucket, you get 3 free throws. Pretty much makes sense.
And that foul may have been after the shot.
Here's the pass inside, and last time down you see Shank with the steal. Over to Pittman, almost lost it. Pushes it up. And there's Gibson over to Rich, and he definitely got hit right on the arm. Good call by the referee. Might have called it after the shot, but we'll take that one. Clarence's first free throw is perfect. He's got 8 points already. A couple of three-pointers and 2 free throws. 5 team fouls right now on the Dons, 4 on the Norsemen. We've got 11:19 to go in the first half. IPFW leads it by 7, make it 8. 23-15 ball game right now, and here comes free throw number 3. No, you're not seeing anything wrong. Again, 3 free throws if you get fouled shooting a three-pointer, and Clarence Rich takes advantage of it, hits all 3. He's got 10 points. Remember the last game we did, Charlie, he got off to a real hot start. I think he had 14 in the first half and then barely shot the ball again. Press doesn't work for IPFW that time, number 42. Jerry Tevis winds up with a layup. Dons lead it by 7, 24-17. Pass stolen away by Brown. He drives the middle, leaves a 2-footer short, but the rebound put in by David Marshall. Long pass down court, stolen away by Tevis. Norseman starting to pick up the pace here. Marbury with the short one, no good. Tevis rebound, no good. Tip again, no good. And they're going to call a foul on John Honstrider, I believe.
This size advantage now, Randy, is starting to take effect, but actually the size advantage is not as large as it was at the beginning of the game because Honstrider's in the ballgame instead of Tony Martin.
There you see them pounding the boards right here. What's really hurting IPFW right now, Charlie, is some really bad passing. Throwing the ball away 3 or 4 times already.
Exactly, and they're passes that you don't need.
No, there's been a lot of long passes, cross-court passes, as we sometimes call ill-advised passes. First free throw by Jerry Tevis is good. Cuts the lead to 4, 24-20.
We just saw in the replay there an example of how IPFW in the last couple of minutes have been getting badly beaten on the boards.
Second free throw by Tevis. One's good too. 24-21, IPFW leads it by 3. 10:45 to go in the first half. Kevin Shank, great pass underneath to Gibson. And they're going to call it jump ball. That was a very clean block right there by number 44, David Marshall. And the possession arrow pointing to Northern Kentucky. Norsemen will have a chance to cut the lead to 2. They could tie it with a 3-pointer. Here you see the Dons breaking the press. Great pass underneath. Gibson couldn't put it up quickly, and there's the good clean block by David Marshall. Norseman's Pangello breaks the press. Tevis misses the reverse layup, and Honstrider comes away with the rebound. Down to Shank. Kevin drives, puts it up, no good, but they're going to call him for the travel. Kevin wanted the tripping foul on that.
And Randy, what we said before, maybe those 3 quick baskets for Shank made him a little overconfident now.
Northern Kentucky slowing it up this time. Norsemen have picked up the pace a little in the last couple of minutes, and it's helped. They've got the lead. Down to 3. Marshall, short jumper, no good. There's Clarence Rich with the rebound. What's his nickname? Biscuit? Seabiscuit?
Seabiscuit.
But he has it stolen away. Pangelo causes some contact, and they're going to call Pittman on the foul. Pangelo's going to be shooting one way or the other here. That is the 17th foul on IPFW. So the Dons over the limit. So this will either be a one-on-one or a two-shot foul. Let's see what the ref says. Here comes some substitutions for both teams. For IPFW, Jeff Smithy, Tony Martin, Sam Long checking in, Kevin Shank, John Honstrider, and Mike Pittman takes seats. So the lineup right now for the Dons, you've got Smithy, Long, Martin, Gibson, and there's Clarence Rich, who was hiding out. Pangelo with the one-on-one hits the first one. For the Norsemen, you have Pangelo, number 12, Darren Blassingame checks in for the first time, and also number 30, Jimmy Matthews, number 43, Todd Swoboda, and number 42, Jerry Tevis. Another substitution for IPFW. Clarence Rich sits down. Dwayne Shears, number 23, coming in. Second free throw by Pangelo is short. So the Dons lead it by 2. We're halfway through the first half. 24-22 IPFW. Tony Martin, nice job breaking the press. Over to Shears. Inside Gibson. Turnaround jumper from 12 is good. Sean gets his second bucket of the night. Dons lead up to 4. 26-22. Pangelo to Blassingame. Inside Matthews. Tied up by Jeff Smithy. One ref says it's a jump ball. The other one calls it a travel. And they're going to call it a travel. Good play by Smithy. I thought that was a wall.
That's what you get sometimes, Randy, when you have 3 referees out there. You get 3 different calls.
You're right about Matthews, though, Charlie. He's the leading scorer, over 17 a game, and he's really pressing right now. He's not scoring. Great inside pass to Gibson. Gives Smithy the assist. The Dons stretch that lead back to 6, 28-22.
That was a great job by Gibson getting out on the lane and filling it, and also good recognition by Smithy to reward the big man for running that lane.
IPFW getting a lot of inside baskets tonight. Tevis drives the baseline, reverse, no backboard bucket, and the foul. He'll get a chance to complete the three-point play. That was a pretty move by number 42.
That's the kind you're trying to driveway.
Watch Smithy here with the 3-on-1. The no look to Sean Gibson. Perfect. That's the way the Lakers draw it up.
You have to reward that big guy for getting out there because it's kind of hard for those big guys to get out there.
Here's that last play by Tevis. Look at this move here. Sam Long with the foul. He split 2 guys in the air.
I'm not sure if he was on the ground. If he wasn't on the ground when he shot that basketball, Randy.
Free throw is no good. And the foul was on Sam Long, his first. Dons lead it by 4, 28-24, 9 minutes to go in the first half. Inside to Gibson, left hand, good. Sean eating up all of a sudden. What's he got, 8 or 10 now, Charlie?
8 points.
Yeah, he scored 6 in about the last minute and a half.
Exactly.
2 on layups and 1 on a about 1-foot finger roll. Good defense there by the Dons. They've switched to a man-to-man, really putting the heat on. Blassingame inside out to Pangelo. Can't get the shot off. Tevis been doing a lot of scoring, drives the lane. Bad shot, not even close, but there's Swoboda for the rebound. And he's hammered by Tony Martin. Swoboda goes right to the line. He knows he's got the one-on-one. That is the 9th team foul on IPFW. First one on Tony Martin. There you see good position by Swoboda. And Martin looked like he might have knocked the ball away, maybe got a piece of the arm.
The sparse but vocal crowd here at the Mastodons didn't like that call, but it was a pretty good call.
Yeah, he clipped. Craig Wilhoit checking in the game now for Nick Pangelo. Nick did a very nice job while he was in there running the offense for the Norsemen. IPFW leads it by 6, make it 5. Swoboda, that's 5 free throws for him tonight. He hit his first 2, missed his next 2, now he hits this one.
He came into the ball game shooting just under 60%, so on the first 2.
And he misses that one, so he's 50% tonight. Dons lead still 5, 30-25, just over 8 minutes to go in the first half. Smithy over to Shears. Back out Smithy. Sam Long staying up by that three-point line where he likes to shoot it from Smithy. I think they're going to call him for stepping out of bounds. Yep. Made a great move, and he's giving a high five there by Tony Martin going, what a great shot I made. He didn't realize he cut the out of bounds there. Good call by the official.
I think Jeff was prepared to go to the free throw line to complete his three-point play. But no.
Matthews way out top. IPFW's done a great job of taking him out of the ball game. There's Blasingame from the corner. Perfect. He back down to 3. 30-27 IPFW has the lead. Just under 8 minutes to go in the first half. Sam Long's got wide open Sean Gibson. Back out Tony Martin. Drives the lane. Good move, Tony. Everybody in the building thought he was going to take the jumper, especially Northern Kentucky. They all went at him. Tony took the one dribble and right by. Excellent move. Norseman working around the top. David Marshall's got the ball. Gets it back out in Blasingame. Wilhoit throws it inside. There's a double team. Good defense there and excellent boxing out. Long pass by Martin to Shears. He'll pull up. He's got the 1-on-2. Tony Martin again. Will he take the jumper? No. Over to Shears for 3. No good. Sam Long. Good rebound by Sam. Gets it off to Gibson. Over to Martin. No good on the layup. Everything worked perfectly that time except the shot.
That play was a little late in developing, but it developed.
Sabota inside. They're going to call him for shuffling the feet. Got some changes for the Dons here. Tony Martin, Dwayne Shears, and Sam Long go out. John Honstrider, Clarence Rich, and Kevin Shank checking back in. Also a substitution for the Norsemen. Todd Svoboda takes a seat. Chris Russell, number 50, getting his first action of the game.
Surprisingly, we haven't seen Doug Granke any of this basketball game yet.
And you notice, if you look over at the bench there, Charlie, he's sitting all the way at the end, as far away from the coach as you can be, and he still has his warm-up on. Oh, John Honstrider wide open underneath. Nobody saw him. Gets it inside now, knocked away. Honstrider will pick it up again. Gets it out to Smithy. 25 seconds on the shot clock. IPFW has plenty of time to run a play. Shank outside, and he got grabbed. Well, they'll call it a push on number 14, Craig Wilhoit. That'll be his first, team's 5th. Northern Kentucky getting a little close to putting IPFW at the line. Dons lead it by 5 right now, 32-27. We've got 6 minutes, 29 seconds to go in the first half. Kevin Shank inside, back to Gibson outside. Smithy for 3, no good. Norsemen come away with the rebound. Aaron Blasingame over to Jimmy Matthews, the big scorer who's been quiet. Good pass inside to Marshall, and he gets to almost a steal by Clarence Rich, but he just couldn't pull the ball away from Marshall, who's a little bigger and probably a little stronger than Clarence. So Clarence has the quickest hands you'll want to see.
And it was good for Northern Kentucky that Matthews passed that ball off and did not try to force up the shot as he's done in the last few minutes trying to get on the scoring section.
Honstrider into Rich to Smithy, and they're going to call Jeff for the travel. Norseman's press has worked pretty effectively tonight, causing quite a few turnovers so far, Charlie. IPFW usually the kind of team that doesn't have a lot of trouble with the press because the Dons practice against it all the time.
Exactly. And they also run it themselves in basketball games, which alludes to the fact that they practice against it every day.
Smithy goes down after that turnover. Mike Pittman back in. He hasn't played a lot tonight either, Pittman. Ball tipped out of bounds off of Sean Gibson's hand. They'll stay with the Norseman. Wilhoit will inbounds the ball. And he'll get it to David Marshall. Marshall back to Wilhoit. Inside to Chris Russell. Good move. 2 points, Russell. We've got us a 1-point ball game. 32-31. IPFW leading it. 5 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the first half. Pittman across the timeline to Clarence Rich. Dribbles over to the right corner. Inside Sean Gibson. Looking for someone to go to. Back inside Gibson. Out to Rich. Honstrider. Pittman. Rich. Passes up to 3. Shank in the left corner takes the 2-pointer. No good. Ball out of bounds to Northern Kentucky. After hitting his first 3, I think Kevin's missed 3 or 4 since then.
I think he's missed about 4 in a row. What's really giving IPFW the problems on this press ring is the front 2 guys, the spearheads of this press. Once they break the press, they're in good shape, but they're having problems breaking it at the top.
Northern Kentucky can take the lead with a basket. Great pass underneath the blasting game, but it's knocked out of bounds by John Honstrider. Terrific pass from Jimmy Matthews, who isn't scoring, so he's trying to get involved in other ways.
A pass that should never have gotten through. You have to have your hands up ready to deflect a over-the-head pass from that point of the floor to the other end.
Seabiscuit with the steal, but nobody looking for the balls. He knocks it back in, and now he ties up. Number 44, David Marshall, the possession arrow pointing to IPFW. Clarence Rich's hand, he must have 4 hands because they're everywhere. They are really everywhere. He almost gets the steal. Nobody was looking for the ball, and then the guy gets it back, and he dribbles in, and he ties it up as he tries to dribble through. He's just a terrific defensive player. Mike Pittman across the timeline, breaking the press by himself, looking for someone to pass to now as the Dons run the offense. Pittman drives inside, and they call 5 seconds. Got to get rid of the ball.
Mike Pittman not looking like he's playing on a gimpy ankle, though. He looks pretty well coming up the court and making the sharp cuts.
As well as IPFW played the first 6-7 minutes of this ball game, the last 6 or 7 minutes they have been playing just the opposite. They were out to what, it was a 20-8 lead at one point. And 14. Wilhite drives the lane, can't get it, gets it back. Great play out to blasting game. Good. And for the first time tonight, Northern Kentucky takes the lead. 33-32. 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first half. Dons have to get that offense going again. Well, Charlie, one of the things, too, a lot of their points early on for IPFW were on fast breaks, layups. They're not getting them now. Clarence Rich forces a 3, no good. Gets his own rebound, though. Stolen away by Marshall, out of bounds, too. They look at each other, and they decide to give it to IPFW. I love that when the refs look at each other. You got it, you got it. Well, just say one or the other. Pretend you look confident. If you look like you're confident making the call, the guys that usually believe you.
Exactly. I alluded to something early in the basketball game, Randy, that the Mastodons did not have a big score in the game, and that Clarence Rich, although he's averaging about close to 13 points a game, and Sean Gibson over 15 points a game. They do not have that big basketball player to get you the 2 points when you have to have it that can create their own shot.
Doug Reinke seeing his first action of the night. He's started just about all year. Checks in with 4 minutes to go in the first half. Dwayne Shears also in. Kevin Shank and John Honstrider take a seat for Northern Kentucky. Number 22, Greg Filia, starting point guard, back in. He was out for a long time. Mike Pittman dribbling around the top. Be careful that 5-second violation. And then Clarence Rich gets the pick from Doug Reinke. That was a serious pick by Doug.
A pick that could have been called a foul because he finished it with a little push.
Well, maybe that's why the coaches were sitting him for a while tonight, just to try to stir him up, because he seems a little motivated in there right now, a couple seconds after he checks in. Shears has to get it in.
About a month ago, that same tactic worked extremely well on Sean Gibson.
Yeah, I remember that game. Mike Pittman for 3, not even close. Reinke with the rebound. Go up with it, Doug. Go strong. He does, but can't make the shot. Tips the rebound again over to Shears. Knocked away by Craig Wilhoit. VFW doing a good job on the boards, but just couldn't get the shot to fall. Northern Kentucky slowing it up a little now. Wilhoit over to Filia. Out top, Matthews. Drives the lane. In the corner to Filia. 14-footer. No, it's a pass out to Matthews for 3. No good. And there's Sean Gibson to clean up the glass. Mike Pittman pushing it over to Dwayne Shears. Pass up to 3. He's going to travel. Need to be a little more decisive on that one. Either take the shot or boom, go to the hole.
Well, you make that fake, Randy, and once that player goes in the air, you see this big, wide open lane to the basket, and you just want to get there so quick, you move your feet before you actually put the ball down. Yeah. Not that I've ever done that before.
Ooh. Pass inside to Russell. He's way underneath. He couldn't make that one. Sean Gibson pulls it down up quickly. Shears drives in. Good move. Can't get it to fall. Reinke tip. Won't go either. And here come the Norsemen back the other way. Filia dishes it to Matthews. Drives middle. And they're going to call the foul. I think they're going to get number 23, Dwayne Shears, with that one. That's who they get.
Randy, I hope in some of my conversations, some of the fans looking on out there do not get the concept that I'm putting any of the basketball players down on IPFW's team when I say they don't have that go-to person. IPFW is probably the strongest they've ever been, 1 through 12, as far as personnel. because they don't lose much when they put any of their players in.
But
they
there
don't
are
have
times when you got to have a guy who can get hot and score 8, 10, 12 points for you in a row. Matthews hits the first one. That was the first foul on Dwayne Shears. 10 fouls now on IPFW this half. That means this is a 2-shot foul, even though it wasn't a shooting foul. After 10, everything is a 2-shot foul. And Matthews hits them both. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-point lead for Northern Kentucky, 35-32. That was like, I don't know if you saw any of the Notre Dame-Virginia game. I think it was over the weekend, Charlie. Brian Stith, he scored 19 points in a row for Virginia, something like that. You got to have a guy like that sometimes who can get hot and carry a team for stretches when you get cold, because IPFW cold right now and nobody wants the ball.
Exactly. That player who can create their own shots without the aid of a pick.
Well, Glenn Howard used to be able to do that, but unfortunately he's not on the team anymore. Mike Pittman for 3. That one is short. Out of bounds. I think it's off of Matthews. Yeah, that's how they're going to call it. That's a guy IPFW is going to miss the rest of the season, because there were times he had flashes of brilliance. He just could really, as you were saying, a creative player, could get his own shot, and you miss that.
Yeah, but his inconsistency hurt him. He had all of the ability in the world, but sometimes it seemed that he wasn't using all of his God-given ability.
Pittman driving inside. Nice move by Mike. Hits the hanging 6-footer. IPFW now down by 1, 35-34. We've got 1:40 to go in the first half. Glad you're with us here on College Cable Access Channel 6. Randy Schiffman and Charlie Washington bringing you all the exciting action of IPFW college basketball. The Dons taking on the Norsemen of Northern Kentucky this evening. Pangello, great pass inside to Chris Russell. Swatted by Reinke, but they're going to get Doug for the foul. That was a pretty good foul there. Doug got a nice block. Russell's going to remember that the next time he goes up for a shot. The other players that go inside will think about that one too.
But Russell has been very aggressive down there on the block. He's gotten that ball and he's known what to do with it.
Frankie will take a seat now. That was his first foul. Tony Martin checks in. The Dons again over the limit, the extreme limit now. 10 team fouls in this half, so everything a 2-shot foul for Northern Kentucky. Russell's first free throw is somehow went in. He had that spin on it. It hit under the rim, it looked like, and it just kept rolling, like rawhide. There you saw the block by Doug Reinke. Got him across the line. Second free throw by Russell. Way too strong. Nice tip by Tevis. Can't get it to go. And Tony Martin pulls it away. Gets it over to Pittman. Back to Tony Martin. Wide open. Clarence Rich for 3. Dons take the lead on that one. 37-36. How many Seabiscuit got? 13 now?
13 points.
3 3-pointers. And 4 free throws.
Right at his average.
Let's hope tonight, though, that he keeps it going in the second half, as opposed to the last time he got hot and didn't want to shoot the ball after the first half. Got a foul on Northern Kentucky. They're going to get number 42, Jerry Tevis, for pushing.
And Randy, part of what you just mentioned about Clarence Rich scoring in the second half has a lot to do with recognition of his teammates, knowing that he's hot and he was hot in the first half and he needs to get the ball in the second half to continue that. That's the key, another key or facet of being a very good basketball team. I
think if Clarence had a little more aggressive nature, he could be a go-to kind of guy, because he's got all the tools. Tony Martin, no good with a half-baby hook there. Pangello pushing it right back, gets it over to Filia. Northern Kentucky may play for 1. Shot clock and the game clock only a couple seconds off. No, Filia tries a 3, no good. Quickly out, Sean Gibson underneath, bad pass. Knocked away by Svoboda, but he throws it back to Clarence Rich. 20 seconds to go in the half. IPFW should play for 1 here. Gibson hits the shot. They're going to call that a 3-pointer. Thought his foot was on the line. Surprising he took the shot so early there. Might not have been aware that there were only 20 seconds to go in the half. We're under 10 seconds now. Pangello drives the lane. Dishes it to Svoboda. Good play by Pangello. Cuts it down to 2. 2 seconds. Pittman with the 40-footer. No good. And IPFW with a late burst grabs the lead at the half. 40-38. Sort of like that was almost 2 halves in 1 there, Charlie. IPFW starting out so hot and then fell asleep for a while and then started playing well again towards the end.
Yeah, they came out on the good end. Sean Gibson shot a shot where a few of the coaches say, "Oh no, Sean is great shot, Sean." They came away with a 1-point advantage on that last exchange with Sean Gibson hitting a 3-pointer. But then Northern Kentucky came down and hit a 2-pointer.
Yeah, you normally don't want to see your center shooting a three-pointer with 20 seconds to go in the half and the shot clock off. You'd like to see him working around a little and play for the last one, but as you said, IPFW caught a break there. Clarence Rich, a tremendous first half. He has 13. Sean Gibson's got 11, right?
Yes.
He hit that three-pointer. Who else is playing well for him right now?
Smithy started out playing well, but kind of slacked off. He kind of like had those two separate halves. The first 10 minutes he played great. Then the second 10 minutes he did not play very well.
And also Kevin Schenk had a good start. He had 6 points early for the Norsemen. David Marshall, I thought, had a good first half, number 44, and Jerry Tevis also playing pretty well. Again, IPFW leads it 40-38, and I think we're going to see some Arkansas Turtles or something now. I thought
Razorback Turtles.
Yeah, because they have Razorback in Arkansas, so you won't want to miss this, and stay with us. We'll be back with the second half after the Arkansas Razorback Turtles in about 10 minutes. Enjoy.
The leatherback turtle, an endangered species, is the research subject of Frank Palladino from our biology department. Frank discovered, after he brought leatherback turtle eggs to this campus, that even in the apparent safety of his laboratory, the leatherback is endangered, this time by secondhand cigarette smoke. And so, in the interest of research, he's managed to do here what Everett Koop is trying to do for the rest of us. The leatherback turtle is a native of Latin America, and on another level, in another way, research done here is concerned with that area. Frank?
I'll try to dazzle you with pretty pictures because working with these animals is rather awesome. In the last 5 years or so here at IPFW, my research is centered on the works we have done down in Costa Rica on the leatherback turtle. If someone would please flick the projector on. And I guess I have a remote control for it here, or... All right, this is the National Park System of Costa Rica. As you've heard, Costa Rica is a very stable government and one that has been very, very far-sighted with respect to its use of land and its conservation practices, which is quite odd for a third world, new developing country. All the mustard-colored areas are national parks, which set aside 7% of their land mass as national parks. In comparison, in the United States, we have less than 1/10 of 1% of our land mass as national parks. So they're very progressive, and they also have taken advantage of this with respect to tourism. My work in the last few years is centered on the Caribbean coast in a small village called Tortuguero, which abuts one of the larger national parks, that's Tortuguero National Park, which extends for over 30 kilometers along the coastline. In the national park itself, there is no major development at all, and it has remained a pristine tropical rainforest, one of the few areas left in the world where that is true. The turtles, and there are 7 known species of sea turtles that are found worldwide, the largest of which being the leatherback, which can go up to 2,000 pounds. The ones we're working with in Costa Rica have weighed upwards of 1,000 pounds, and from the tip of their snout to the end of their tail, or caudal peduncle as it's called, these turtles range about 7.5 feet in length. So these are very much look like dinosaurs, and our supposition is that they've been around since the age of dinosaurs. Much of their physiology being reptilian should give us some insights into dinosaurs as well. Some of the other sea turtles are also in this figure here. This is an aerial photograph of Tortuguero. The only way to get to Tortuguero in any real fashion is by airplane and landing on the beach. Small plane. You're stuck on a small strip of land that's surrounded on one side by the waters of the Caribbean and the fresh water of the Rio Tortuguero, which is on the inward or inland side. You fly in, you contract with a private pilot, and he'll go out and look to see what the weather is, and then they'll fly you in and land you with all your equipment on a little sand dune along the edge of the beach. We were working at the Green Turtle Research Station, which is founded and has been run by the Caribbean Conservation Corporation, which was founded many years ago by Archie Carr, very preeminent biologist who really started much of the wave of world consciousness of what's happening to our oceans. His books, along with Rachel Carson books in the 50s, were award winners and ones that really started the ecological movements we see today for conservation. Here's the Green Turtle Research Station. You can see it's rather homey. Really all it is the old bunkhouse of a lumber company that used to lumber out this area. And you do have running water and indoor bathrooms, but that's about it. Our program has been funded a number of different ways by research grants from the National Geographic Society, the Caribbean Conservation Corporation, as well as your public tax monies in the National Science Foundation. However, we've also found a way to educate the public by running a vacation volunteer program where you as an individual can fly down and support yourself there while helping us out, assisting with the research. This program has been run for over 25 years, but is now starting to catch hold, and these work volunteer vacations are becoming very popular. Here's just a sample of some of the volunteers we've had down there, ranging from the publisher of Worth Publishing, which is the older gentleman in the back right-hand corner, to a truck driver from Hoagland, Indiana, who's in the green plaid shirt standing next to me. So we had a wide variety of people who came down firsthand, got a chance to see a number of endangered species, as well as get a chance to visualize and learn about how research is conducted and get a first-hand view of the tropical rainforests. This is the beach. It's a volcanic beach. As you walk along the sands here, you sink about 6 to 8 inches. And the turtles come up along this beach during the months of March and April to lay their eggs. This is the dry season. Here's a photograph of one of the turtles we started working with. They come up late at night, somewhere between 1 and 4 in the morning. They then will dig a hole about 3 feet deep using their rear flippers, and will then deposit about 100 eggs about the size of a tennis ball. One of the results of the studies we've done down there is that we have found that the sex of these turtles is determined by temperature, not by the X or Y chromosome, male-female chromosome, but by the temperature at which the eggs are incubated. This has very important implications for the conservation of these animals, because we have been practicing taking these eggs, removing them from their natural nest sites, putting them in areas where they will be hatched synthetically. However, those incubators tend to have constant temperatures. So all we know is that for the last 10 years of doing this, we've probably been dumping only one sex of turtle into the water and not having both sexes. And as we all are aware, you need both sexes to propagate the population. They then very arduously cover these nests up and disguise them. And afterward, we then would start doing some other physiological studies, including weighing and measure these animals, along with the help of the volunteers. You can see this work with 3 or 4 scientists would be very difficult if we didn't have a number of volunteers and warm bodies to help us manipulate these large animals out in the field. This is a diagram of some of the metabolic studies, physiological studies I've done, in which we found that these animals are fully capable of living in the very ice-cold waters of the North Atlantic. Quite odd for a cold-blooded reptile. We found that because of their large size, even their low metabolism as a reptile allowed them to do this. So this is another piece of information that gives us insights into dinosaurs and the very heated question as to whether dinosaurs were hot-blooded or not. And you can see that it's quite a task simply weighing these animals, catching them in a cargo net, and then raising them up with a crane scale. All of this has to be done on a beach in which there is no access. We have to carry all this equipment, so the volunteer program is very essential. We then come back to the luxurious laboratory which we have back and do the analysis of the work, the scientific work there. Our works have been published in some of the prominent journals in science, including the American Journal of Science, as well as Nature. So here at Fort Wayne, we do have valid and very good research going on in the science areas, as well as many other areas. We also started a hatchery, and this is to help to offset some of the poaching of the turtles that goes on here. This has got my finger in the way here, but that's a poached turtle. They will slice the turtle up on the beach as they come out. They're fairly defenseless, and grab the meat. You can see the eggs that have not been encased in the shell are still remaining inside the upper portion of the shell here. We also took on an education program. We went to the local school in the village of Tortuguero, which has the children from the surrounding 12 villages coming in. And we described the work we were doing, trying to explain the reasons why conservation is necessary. We also started a turtle festival, which, due to the attendance of Mrs. Arias at the time, has now become an annual event in which they celebrate the turtle in the way in which it has brought money and revenue into the system because of tourism, and also because of the fact that conservation of these turtles has brought worldwide recognition to the Costa Rican government. The little children were, of course, very interested with our instrumentation, and it was very difficult, again, first of all, to speak to them all in Spanish, but also to get it down to a level where the kids would enjoy it and understand the reason for conservation. We started a pilot project in which there's lots of garbage that washes up on this windward beach, plastic garbage, in which the children each month take another section of beach and remove the plastic. And then they go out the next month to survey how much has been returned, to try to get an estimate of how much plastic washes up on these beaches down there in Costa Rica. Another thing that we're looking at and having the children down there work on is the fact that these little pellets that look like styrofoam pellets are actually from the ballasting out of the oil tankers that go across the Caribbean. This is a real problem for the small juvenile turtles because it looks like the food item that they would eat. So they eat these little waxy pellets and will die from clogged stomachs due to these pellets accumulating. So the children, and educating the public in Costa Rica the importance of conservation and the resources that they have, which are not found elsewhere in the world. These are all endangered, and the reason they're endangered is because their nesting sites are disappearing and because of development. We do find medical waste on these pristine beaches. Not just in New Jersey do we find hypodermic needles and plastic vials from medicines. Now these plastic wastes are coming from their own refuse. They're in Spanish, so this is not American garbage washing up on the beaches of Costa Rica and Central America. So again, education and understanding that this is their problem, something that they will have to deal with, is important. And we've also, due to works from the National Geographic Society, have filmed much of this information, and it should be out in, my understanding, in about a year, with another film crew coming down with us in January, this coming January. I've also gone to the University of Costa Rica and given presentations there in Spanish, and I currently have one graduate student who will be working with us and training and finishing her master's degree in this work. This means that they will then be able to, on their own, develop their own graduate programs and produce their own students and work with the scientists from other countries. A lot of times as scientists we tend not to follow through and not to contact the people from foreign countries that we go to and work in. We tend to go in, do our work, and leave, nobody knowing what we have done. So it's good to include the local government as well as the local science community in the works you are involved in. And these are some of the graduate students who are working with us in the lab from Costa Rica. We have also started a botanical study in which we are also categorizing and cataloging my 10 minutes are up, that's what this is for. Cataloging a lot of the plants. And you can see that those efforts are arduous because there are many plants that are already endangered that we didn't even know existed previously. There are thousands more species of plants. And also educating the public on some of the other animals that are found there. The green iguana is definitely starting to disappear very, very rapidly, as well as some of these beautiful poisonous snakes, although many of us would not like to deal with them. And a typical Costa Rican who lives in these village huts, very beautiful inside. This place actually has electricity and running water in it. So they have a very simple life, but one that is very, very, I think, aesthetically pleasing, and one that is very well mixed in with nature.
Lady Dons defeated the Lewis University Lady Flyers 72-60. The leading scorers for IPFW, Lisa Miller had 23, Shelley Sands had 12 points, and Dawn Dressler added 11. For Lewis University, Krista Eshu had 18, Jackie Wayne with 13, and Ann Hoving with 10. IPFW Lady Dons go to 8-2 in the GLVC, just a half a game out of first, and 15-4 overall.
Welcome back, everyone. Randy Schiffman and Charlie Washington back with you live from the IPFW Multi-Purpose Building, bringing you IPFW college basketball. The Dons taking on the Norsemen of Northern Kentucky tonight. Dons lead it right now 40-38 at the end of the first half. And
As soon as the pizza
ready to start
comes,
the
we'll
second
announce
here.
the winner of the free medium pizza.
Northern Kentucky will have the ball. We'll set the lineups for you. For Northern Kentucky, you have number 10, Nick Pangallo, and number 22, Greg Feely in the backcourt. Up front, 44, David Marshall. Number 30, Jimmy Matthews. And number 43, Todd Svoboda. For the Dons, you have number 4, Jeff Smithy. 12, Clarence Rich. 41, Sean Gibson. 32 is Kevin Shank. And 24, Tony Martin. Pangallo over to Matthews, leading scorer for the team, who didn't score much in the first half. Gets it to Feely. The jumper is good. And 30 seconds into the second half, it's a brand new ball game, 40-40.
Right back where we started.
Another bad pass by the Dons. They get a break on that one. That wasn't a turnover. Clarence Rich drives, no good. Marshall pulls down the rebound. 16 turnovers in the first half for IPFW. Pangallo shot is no good, but he got hammered by, I believe, Kevin Shank with the foul. I think
that was
Kevin
Kevin
Shank. On Kevin Shank. He's in a little bit of foul trouble now, of course. That is the first team foul in IPFW this half. Pangallo beat the line shooting 2. He can put the Norsemen ahead if he hits either one of them. Why all the turnovers tonight, Charlie? What do you think the problem's been?
I don't know. About 4 or 5 turnovers in the first half, Randy, were just on crazy up-court passes that were very ill-advised. So about 4 or 5 came within the first 7 or 8 minutes, and then a lot of just errant passes on the fast breaks.
Andy Piazza, of course, not wearing the famous blue and white striped sweater anymore. He's back to the more conventional navy blue coat with the yellow tie. John Felsky must have called him this morning because John, the assistant coach, also wearing the navy blue coat and yellow tie. Shank the long pass over to Rich inside Gibson. Dons trail by 2 now, 42-40. Tony Martin with the left hand, no good. Gets his own rebound, though. Takes it away from his own man. Kevin Shank can't hit the second shot. And 44, Marshall pulls it down for the Norseman. Feely driving inside. Short jumper, good. Biggest lead of the night for Northern Kentucky. 4 points, 44-40.
Again, Randy, you have the spearhead of that Norseman press giving the Mastodons some problems.
Clarence Rich way outside. He had 13 in the first half. Sean Gibson inside. He hits a jumper. 13 for Sean on the game now, and the Dons trail by 2, 44-42. We just got to hope that Clarence Rich keeps taking some shots in the second half. So often he'll come out, light it up in the first half, and then just not shoot the ball much after the break. Matthews dribbling around. Beautiful spin move and leaves the shot short. From about 1.5 feet, he shot it about 0.5 foot. Great move, bad shot.
That has to be frustrating for a player of Matthews' magnitude.
So many times you make that great move and then you just don't concentrate on the shot. Kevin Shank drives baseline. Beautiful move by Kevin Shank. He's got 8 tonight. That's a lot of points for Kevin. Tie ball game, 44-44. Shank hit his first 3 shots. Then he missed 3 or 4. He hits his first to start the second half. Could be a good sign. Feely for 3, doesn't get any. Sean Gibson gets the rebound. Smithy pushing it up. Looking for somewhere to go. Gibson outside. He hit a 3 in the first half. Over to Shank. Inside Martin. Out Smithy. Rich. Gibson. Short jumper. Good again. That's 2 of those Sean's hit this half. Same shot twice.
That could have been a replay of the one he hit just moments ago.
And the Dons grab the lead, 46-44. Gibson working on a big game. He's got 15 points. He also has at least a half a dozen rebounds right now. Terrific game for Sean. Been the player of the week in the conference once this season. Maybe he'd like to do that again. Jimmy Matthews inside to Svoboda. Great pass to Marshall. Tie ball game, 46-46. Terrific interior passing by the Norsemen.
Exactly. Great post-to-post action on that sequence.
Smithy avoids the double team by getting it over to Martin. Behind the back, he's fouled one of those little ticky-tacky, you barely touch the guy fouls called by the ref. It's going to be on number 44, David Marshall. his third. That's good news for IPFW because Marshall had 11 points in the first half. That led the Norsemen. One team foul on both squads so far, just over 3 minutes played in the second half. IPFW Sean Gibson drives out to Smithy. Inside Martin, 8-footers, no good. Rebound pulled down by Greg Filia. Gets it over to Pangallo. Left-handed jumper, perfect. Norseman back on top, 48-46. Tony Martin with a sloppy inbounds pass after the basket, almost stolen away by Marshall. He knocks it out of bounds. It'll be Downs' ball on the side, and that's going to get Mike Pittman in the lineup. Pittman coming in for Kevin Shank. Now, there are 16 and a half minutes to go in the second half. Downs trailing by 2, 48-46 to Northern Kentucky. Martin gets it into Pittman, over to Smithy. Smithy back to Pittman, and he gets across the timeline. Mike in the corner to Sean Gibson, way across, almost stolen. Rich comes up with it though, short shot, not close. Swoboda pulls down the rebound, stolen away by Rich, who hands it off to Pittman inside Martin, no foul. Count the basket, a lot of contact there, but the refs say play on, sort of like a soccer game.
That whole sequence right there, Randy, created by the quick hands of Clarence Rich.
Tie game now at 48. This I think is going to be a tight one all the way, Charlie. Now watch, it's going to end up being a 30-point win, but yeah, 15 and almost 16 minutes still to go in the game. Number 30, Matthews, 3-point attempt, no good.
Has he scored yet?
He's got at least a couple of free throws. Some more contact, nothing called there. The Downs turn it over on another one of those long passes. Andy Piazza screaming off of the bench, says hold on to the blank ball. You fill in the blank at home. Tony Martin ripping down the rebound. Gets it over to Smithy, to Mike Pittman. Dials up a long one, does not connect.
Nobody home.
Swoboda with the easy rebound over to Pangallo. Right down the middle, good pass to Matthews. Has it knocked away again. He's really struggling tonight. Ball goes out of bounds. They're looking at each other. Oh, they both say goal this time. They looked at each other, the refs, gold ball. Okay, we'll say gold ball. Tony Martin's going out. Dwayne Shears coming in. John Honstrider has also checked in the lineup. Mike Pittman out. Tony Martin out. Tonight for the Downs, you've got Honstrider, Shears, and Gibson up front, and Mike Pittman and Clarence Rich in the backcourt. Number 50, Chris Russell, is in the ball game for the Norsemen. So is number 34, Kenny Brown. 44, Marshall for the three-pointer. He is really having a good ball game. Norsemen go up by 3, 51-48. Just under 15 minutes to go in half number 2. Glad you can join us here on College Cable Access Channel 6. Randy Schiffman and Charlie Washington bringing you Downs basketball. John Honstrider twirls inside, gets hit by 2 different guys. It's another one of those no autopsy, no fouls kind of night out here at the multi-purpose building on the campus of IPFW. Honstrider gets the hoop, cuts the lead to 51-50. Norsemen of Northern Kentucky lead this one. Inside pass by Pangallo, knocked away by Shears. And what's this, a foul?
There's a mugging on one end and a touch foul on the other end, and they call the touch foul.
We saw one of those plays when Honstrider made the bucket that you might get sent to jail for a year for if you did it, you know? Shears picks up the foul for IPFW, his second, team second. Coming in the lineup for the Norsemen, number 12, Darren Blassingame, and number 42, Jerry Tevis.
I don't know if you've noticed it, Randy, but these Norsemen have 3 southpaws on the team.
Yeah, I have. You're seeing a lot of lefty shots out there tonight. Marshall, Pangallo, and who's the third lefty?
Trivia.
Tevis? Oh, trivia. You're not going to tell me who it is? I know Marshall and Pangallo are both lefties, so that was a pretty easy one to figure out. 34, Brown drives the lane, stolen by Honstrider. That looked like the kind of pass IPFW's made too often this evening. Mike Pittman behind the back a couple of times through the legs. I saw Kenny Anderson do that last night for Georgia Tech. Pittman over to Clarence Rich. Inside Honstrider, off the glass, no good. And we've got a foul on number 42. Jerry Davis again. Hanstrider looked like he got fouled going in for that shot, but the refs not calling a lot of that contact underneath. Here it is again. Good pass to Hanstrider. A lot of contact there. No foul. And then they call the little touch foul on the rebound. Go figure. Shears inbounds it to Sean Gibson. Drives baseline beautifully. Lays it up. No good. And they're going to call a blocking foul on Tevis. That'll be his third foul and the team's third. Gibson should get a couple of free throws out of this one. Good move there by Sean. You don't see him drive a lot from outside, Charlie. It seems like if he doesn't have the wide open jumper, that he'll pass it back out top. There you see him going in and the block. Definitely a good call there. 42. Jerry Tevis did not establish his position.
There you have Sean Gibson and Clarence Rich, the top two scorers on this IPFW team, but they both play well within the confines of Coach Andy Piazza's offense.
Gibson, the sophomore, misses the first free throw. Shown out of Lanesville, Indiana, went to Floyd Central High School. He's got 15 points right now, looking for number 16. That would tie the ball game at 51. There you go, 51-51, 13:35 to go in the second half. IPFW putting on a little pressure now. Northern Kentucky's got 2 seconds to get it across the timeline, and there it is, just beating the clock. Blasingame almost blocked from behind by Gibson. Shears can't come up with the rebound. Brown to Blasingame, drives inside. Gibson with the block. I can't believe they called that a foul. That's a bad a call as you are gonna see. Gibson not near him with the body. I hope we can see that one again. Here comes the first shot by Blasingame that was not close. There's 34, Brown with the rebound. Or Blank with the rebound, excuse me. Look at Gibson, gets the perfect block there. Terrible call by the official. And the official was actually in good position that time. There it is again. All ball, can't do it any better than that.
So Randy, does this take away the compliment that we gave the referees earlier,
This
or
takes
that I
away
gave?
all the compliments. That's as bad a call as you are gonna see. And I'll tell you, if it went the other way, I'd say the same thing. You know, it's just that was a terrible call. Blasingame hits the first free throw. Norsemen go up by 1. Misses the second one. I guess a little justice. Brown with the shot there. And he makes it 54-51 now. Norsemen leading it by 3 with 13 minutes to go. I just noticed, I don't know if you noticed this, Charlie, but Northern Kentucky's got 2 number 34s on its team. I don't think that's legal. Shears outside.
I did not notice that.
Yeah. Jeff Blank and Kenny Brown, unless we got a misprint on the program here. Shears outside, 20 seconds on the shot clock for IPFW. He gets fouled by number 14, Craig Wilhoit. Sort of tapped him in the face as he went running by looking for the steal. Pittman. Shears, you see with the ball way out top. He's going to drive. Watch number 14 just sort of smack him right there in the face. Yeah, I'd call that a foul. Rich for 3 out of the corner. Good. All right. Keep shooting it, Clarence. You were hitting in the first half. Keep it going. Once again, we got a tie ball game. Third time this half. It's been tied up. Fourth time, actually. 54-54 ball game. 12.5 minutes to go. Good one out here tonight at IPFW. The Downs taking on the Norsemen of Northern Kentucky. Darren Blasingame just short on the three-pointer. Rebound knocked all over the place. Brown has it stolen away by Shears. Good hustle. Pittman with the pass to Gibson. Another one of those long passes stolen away. Blasingame over to Brown. He walks and they don't call it. Blasingame for 3. Count that one. Norsemen go up 57-54. I guess you could say this has been a uniquely officiated game.
Last
Mike
time,
Pittman.
the Norsemen had 3 men setting up camp in the lane.
Shears dials up the jumper. Good. Count it. Are they going to call that a 2 or a 3? I didn't see the arms raised by the officials. They're looking at each other now. Here's Gibson. Out top. Pittman. Back to Gibson. You see him get it all the way over in the corner to Shears. Can't see his feet. I think it might have been right on the line. His right foot was sticking out a little. The basket counts, and the foul was underneath. Here's a much better shot. Yeah, he was definitely on the line, so that's a 2-pointer for Shears. Cuts the lead to 1, 57-56, with the foul underneath, so the Downs get the ball back. So that is definitely a break for IPFW. Shears inbounds it. Rich way out top now. Clarence has to keep shooting the ball. He's got 16 points already. Shears, corner to Rich. Back to Martin. Out top to Smithy. 25 on the shot clock. Over to Shears. Driving inside. They're going to call the foul on number 34, Kenny Brown. The refs now trying to take control of the ball game. You see Shears getting very involved offensively tonight. And he gets fouled right there. Inbounding it now to Sean Gibson. In the left corner. Thought he was going to dial up long distance there, but he decides not to. Out top to Rich, over to Smithy, and they'll set up the offense. Jeff over to Shears, drives the middle. Great pass. Gibson, 2 points. Dons take the lead, 58-57. Looks more like what IPFW was doing in the first half, and everything was going the Dons' way. Good pass inside to Russell. Could help defense, so Will Hoyt with a goofy shot. Brown over to Marshall with the left-handed J, in and out. Tony Martin gets fouled by Russell. We're going to call that a foul. That is 17 fouls now on the Norsemen, so IPFW will be at the line. That's 7 by my count. Someone needs to let the officials know. Oh, they notice it now. There you see the foul on the replay. And IPFW, which had a lot of foul trouble in the first half, has only committed 3 team fouls.
But what we've seen a little bit of inconsistency in the referees. They, for a few moments, they'll let the game
them the benefit of the doubt again, Charlie.
Oh, okay. They're terrible.
They did have that one good call tonight. I still have it marked down on the score sheet here. The one good call when you complimented them.
They have been inconsistent. They started out well.
Fouls on number 50, Chris Russell, his first foul for the Norsemen. Tony Martin at the line with the 1-and-1. It's good. IPFW is going to get a chance to score some big-time points at the free throw line. Got to take advantage of that to win the ball game. 2-point lead for the Dons, 59-57. Martin will try to make it 3. He can't. Rebound pulled down by number 24, Ron Marbury, who's just checked in for Northern Kentucky. Gallo running the offense now for the Norsemen. Just somewhere to go, gets it to Marbury. Matthews still trying to get involved in the offense. Hasn't done much tonight. We've got a foul. They're going to call a hold. Might have gotten Jeff Smithy there. Or it might have gotten Tony Martin. Oh, they're going to call it on Northern Kentucky's number 24, Ron Marbury. So IPFW getting a break there. And we've got a timeout on the court. 10:21 to go in the second half. The Dons lead it 59-57. Things looking a little better right now, Charlie.
Yeah, we're just about halfway through this second half, and the Dons are right where they left off at the halftime, up 2 points.
You know, if you've ever wondered about the history of the games between Northern Kentucky and IPFW, well, Dons coach Andy Piazza has got the answer.
Well, the unique thing is Northern Kentucky's had very good players, very good talent. We've been very fortunate. In my 3 years here at IPFW, we're 6-0 against them. We haven't lost to them. So it's maybe a little bit of it. Our kids play well against their style. I don't know explain what it is, but.
All right, we're back with you live from IPFW. Randy Schiffman and Charlie Washington bringing you Dons basketball tonight. IPFW leading at 59-57. 10:21 to go in the second half. 2-point lead right now. Dons had a 2-point lead starting the second half, Charlie, but it seems like IPFW playing a little better than the Norsemen right now.
Yeah, the Norsemen are out of sync. And by the way, Randy, what exactly is a Norseman?
I believe, wasn't it like Scandinavian and those people? I believe those were Norsemen, Nordic-type people.
We've had a lot of interesting mascots.
Yes. Clarence Rich at the line with the 1-on-1. Seabiscuit hits the first one. He's got 17 points right now. Northern Kentucky over the limit, 8 team fouls, a couple of more team fouls, and IPFW will be shooting 2 every time. Rich's second free throw, way strong. Smithy almost stole the rebound, but he can't control it. And here come the Norsemen. Well, the Norsemen were definitely the old, like, Viking-type people. I remember that from my history class. I had more than one history class, but regardless. Underneath Marbury with the rebound, he gets fouled going up for the shot. Sean Gibson a little angry with himself that he couldn't control the glass. They get Tony Martin with the foul. Here you see on the replay. Sean will have a chance to pull down the rebound. Right there, he's like, oh, I should get that one. He didn't box out real well. And they get Martin for the foul. Marbury at the line shooting a pair. First one's up. Perfect. Marbury with his second shot. That one's no good. There you see the replay again, foul on Tony Martin. Rebound stolen away by number 44, David Marshall, and they're going to call Jeff Smithy on a foul this time. Tony Martin getting in a little foul trouble. He's got 3. And Jeff Smithy just picked up his 3rd, I believe. 5 team fouls on IPFW right now. Andy Piazza not liking everything he sees out there. Great defense. Tony Martin stealing the inbounds pass. Smithy, long down court to Clarence Rich. Pass thrown away by Marshall, and he bounces it off of Sean Gibson. Ball will stay with Northern Kentucky. I think I saw 3 turnovers on that one sequence.
Both teams playing a little sloppy right now.
It has been somewhat of a sloppy ball game. IPFW 16 turnovers in the first half. That's about what you'd want to see in a game.
Actually, a couple less than that.
Gello looking for somewhere to go. Rich almost gets the steal, but Marshall winds up with it. Double clutch, 18 seconds in the lane. That's one that you don't see called either. And the ball is finally a jump ball. Boy, number 30, Jimmy Matthews was just camped in the lane for about 6 or 7 seconds. And the refs didn't call.
The Norsemen have been known to do that tonight. Maybe that's a new rule that we've missed. Maybe they've upped the number of seconds that you can stay in the lane.
Maybe the refs think it's 30 seconds. He looked like he had a little X where he was standing. Ball thrown away. Matthews winds up with it. He's going to take this one strong. Gets the bucket, and a silly foul on Tony Martin. Here's the steal. Look at it. Right to the basket. That's how you got to do it. Controls it. Beautiful body there. Keeping the ball out away from himself as a shield.
I may be wrong, Randy, but that's the first field goal I have down for Matthews.
And he misses the free throw. Tie ball game, 60-60. Rebound in the basket by Greg Filia, and another foul on IPFW. Tony Martin's got 3 right now.
I think that may have been number 4 on Smithy.
Yep, they got Jeff Smithy there. His 4th, you are correct. He's going to take a seat along with Clarence Rich and Tony Martin. Kevin Shank, John Honstrider, Mike Pittman come in. They leave Clarence Rich and they take out Dwayne Shears.
For any young people watching the basketball game, that foul was committed, first of all, because Jeff Smithy did not box out. And if you're small, as is Jeff Smithy, if you're someone of small stature, you have to box out.
And Filia completes the 3-point play, and all of a sudden, 5 unanswered points in about 4 seconds by the Norsemen, and they lead it by 3, 63-60. Interior passing doesn't work, stolen away by David Marshall. Quickly to Matthews, short jumper, blocked by Shank. I think he got him with the body, and all of a sudden Matthews starting to score. He's their leading scorer at over 17 a game. He's only got about 6 tonight, I think, though, Charlie. Maybe only 4.
I have him down for 4.
Here's the replay. You see the steal by Marshall, gets it to Matthews. And here comes Shank from the side. Definitely gets him with the body. Good call by the officials. The Dons call a timeout. 8:53 to go in the second half. The Norsemen of Northern Kentucky leading this ball game 63-60.
And the Dons have a couple of players in foul trouble right now also.
Okay, you're watching the game, you may be scratching your head thinking, well, how well are the Dons playing right now? Here's the answer.
we're a little lull right now. We split last week, and we're coming off 4 losses in a row before that. We're playing a freshman, 3 sophomores, and a junior quite a bit. We're young. We're playing very good teams. Ashland is number 1 in the nation, who we lost to on Saturday. But those aren't excuses right now. I think we're underachieving as a team, and we're looking to break out of that. We're changing some things in our lineup. We're making some changes in our offense a little bit for more ball possession because we had so many turnovers against Ashland. And we're going to pick and choose our trapping defense a little bit more. Some teams we're wearing ourselves out a lot on defense and not getting a lot accomplished out of it. So we're going to mix and match a lot more. Also, we've had a lot of injuries this week. John Honstrad hurt his knee against Quincy last Thursday. He didn't play Saturday. He's questionable for this tonight and Saturday. Also against Indianapolis, and we had 2 kids hurt in practice the other day. We only had 9 players practice on Tuesday, which is a big day preparation in the middle of the week for us. So we have less troops now, so we're going to have to pick and choose a little bit more.
Jimmy Matthews at the line shooting 2, misses the first one. The Norsemen lead it right now 63-60. Jeff Smithy has 4 personal fouls. That is bad news for IPFW.
Kevin Schenk also saddled with 4.
Matthews misses them both, so the Downs get a break there. Clarence Rich comes up with the rebound, but stolen away again. Pangello inside against Pittman, misses it, tips it, misses it. And now we've got a foul on number 24, Ron Marbury of Northern Kentucky. So now we'll go down to the other end and IPFW shoot free throws. You know, Charlie, about 2.5 minutes ago we commented that there were 8 team fouls on Northern Kentucky and only 3 on IPFW. Well, IPFW now has 8 team fouls.
This is slowly but surely becoming a game, Randy, marred by fouls and turnovers.
Well, there have been a lot of fouls. The refs just weren't calling them before. Now the refs are. Clarence Rich at the line with the 1-on-1, hits the first. 9 team fouls now on the Norsemen. So from now on, every foul, the Downs will shoot a minimum of 2 free throws. If you get fouled on a 3-pointer, you get 3 free throws. Clarence Rich has 18 points now, I believe, maybe 19. Cuts the lead to 1, 63-62, Northern Kentucky leading it. Little trap action doesn't work. Pangello breaks it, but there's Sean Gibson moving back beautifully to fill the lane on defense and gets the steal. IPFW can take the lead with a bucket. Pittman to Gibson, at to Pittman. Mike hasn't played much tonight, still been nursing a bad ankle. Drives the lane, dishes it to Honstrider, blows the layup. Back the other way, the Norseman, David Marshall, left-handed jumper, too strong. Honstrider there to tip it. Marbury with the ball, and they're going to call him for an offensive foul. He is going nuts here. He can't believe that's twice they've gotten him on that. Watch him on the replay. They're going to say he swings out with the right arm.
He dipped the shoulder is what he did.
No free throws on this one for the Dons. Player control foul. Once again, look at it from underneath. Yeah, good call. He did dip the shoulder there. Good call by the official. He was tough to see from up here.
Exactly. It's a call that's rarely called.
Did I say that was a good call by the official? Whoa. Doug Reinke into the ball game for IPFW. He didn't start tonight. Hasn't played much. Pittman drives. Count the bucket. The foul's going to be on number 10, Nick Pangello. Dons grab the lead with 7:55 to go in the second half, 64-63. Good quick move by Pittman. We've been telling you he's had a bad ankle. Didn't see it there. Well, he will just storm down the court here after he got the ball inbounds. It's like they didn't pick him up, so Mike goes, you guys aren't going to show me any respect. I'm just going to go all the way. Bad defense, too. Nobody helped out. Pittman does hit the free throw, converts the three-point play. Dons up 65-63. Matthews with the shot. He gets the bucket and the foul. We are seeing a lot of fouls here now, Charlie.
Quite a few. And that time, Doug Reinke did not make the right decision on the fast break. He could have taken the charge on Pangello coming down the lane because Pangello went too far. He should have stopped at the free throw line, but instead he drove down the lane, and Reinke could have taken the charge the first time.
Matthews with only his second bucket of the evening. This from a guy averaging 17 a game. Complete the three-point play. Way short. That's 3 free throws in a row he's missed. Marbury gets the rebound. Pulled away by Tony Martin now. Jump ball. belongs to Northern Kentucky on the possession rule. 65-65, 7:44 to go in the second half. Couldn't get any closer than this.
Matthews for Northern Kentucky, Randy, may be averaging about 21 or 22 points if he wasn't a 63% free throw shooter.
Yeah, tonight he's about a 6% free throw shooter. Okay, I exaggerated a little, but he's missed the last 3. I think he hit a couple early. At best, he's 40% tonight. Pangallo drives, gets double teamed, dishes it to Filia. Back out to Pangallo, fakes the jumper, moves in for the short one, no good, and gee, guess what? He's got another foul. I think Kevin Shank is out of the ball game.
That is 5 on Kevin.
Kevin is out of the ball game. Both teams now have 10 personal fouls, which means everything from now on is going to be at least a 2-shot foul. New rule in the NCAA this year, in case you haven't been watching too much college basketball. After 10 team fouls and a half, everything is 2 free throws. Pangallo with the line shooting 2. First one is no good. A lot of the players forget about this rule, and after the first free throw, you'll see him stepping in there. Watch Kevin Shank here. Almost went for the fake on the first one and just gets him with the body again. Pangallo's second free throw is good. So Northern Kentucky grabs the lead with 7.5 minutes to go, 66-65. Tony Martin gets it over to Pittman. That's who you want with the ball. Pittman over to Shears, out by the 3-point line. For someone to give it to, gets to Martin. Tony fakes the handoff. Now he gets it over to Pittman. Like Joe Montana there, faking the handoff to Roger Craig. Running the bootleg. Gibson, right corner inside Martin. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Tony stepped out of bounds. Did a real nice spin move there, but he didn't have enough court to do it. Smart play by number 44, David Marshall on defense, using the out of bounds as an extra defender. That's what the coach is teaching. Northern Kentucky with the ball and a 1-point lead, 66-65, 6:45 to go in the second half from IPFW. Marbury out top for the Norseman. Over to Matthews, 3-pointer. Good, he's getting out all of a sudden. He's got to be up around 10 points now.
Just about there.
IPFW breaking the press. Tony Martin across the timeline. Give it up to Mike Pittman. Mike left quarter court, out to Clarence Rich towards the top of the key. Clarence needs to start taking some shots here. Drives inside, tries to pass it over to Shears, but it's stolen away by Matthews. He can't pick it up because it would have been a double dribble. He screens out Shears and lets one of his own guys get it. Pangallo now driving. Side 3-pointer Filia. No, he won't take the 3-pointer. Matthews will from the corner. No good. But Marbury with the rebound. Inside, he's fouled by Clarence Rich. 4-point lead with 5:52. Northern Kentucky in the lead. There you see the shot by Matthews. Good boxing out. Marbury went up for the shot and got fouled. Got a timeout on the court. 5:52 to go in the second half. Northern Kentucky a 4-point lead and 2 free throws coming up for number 24, Ron Marbury. What does IPFW need to do now, Charlie, to get turned around again?
Well, I think they need to swing the ball, get some inside-outside action, make this Northern Kentucky basketball team play some defense. The last few times down, they have not had to play any defense. There's been a couple of passes, and then someone either goes to the hole, ill-advised, or just throws up a jump shot.
Okay. Now, IPFW has never made it to the NCAA Division II tournament. What's the chance the Dons getting in this year?
Well, it's early for that. We're 9-7. We'd have to, of our last 12 games, if we won 10, 11, or 12, we'd have an outside chance, but they only take 4 from the region. And Michigan gets an automatic bid. Grand Valley State is ranked 20th in the nation right now. They're 16-3. The three teams above us in our conference, Bellarmine, Wesleyan, and Ashland, are ranked. Ashland's ranked number 1 in the nation, Wesleyan's 8th, and Bellarmine's 9th. So we have 3 in the top 9 from our conference alone. Tells you what our conference is like this year. And they won't take any more than 3 from our conference. So it'd have to be a combination. We'd have to get awfully hot, awfully quick, and we'd have to have one of those 3 teams falter, Wesleyan or Bellarmine. It would have to drastically fall off the edge here in the next 6 weeks. So a combination of that, it's out of our control, really. We can only control what we can do the last 12 games.
And honestly, Charlie, I don't think Andy Piazza is thinking NCAA tournament right now. He's thinking he wants to win this ball game.
Right, win this ball game, finish strong in the season, and then go out and recruit some athletes.
Well, again, a young team, though, for IPFW. Not a lot of seniors on this team, so Don should be much better next year. Marbury hits the first free throw, makes it a 5-point lead.
No seniors.
Well, there used to be some. There aren't any left.
Pittman is a senior.
Yeah, that's true. Pittman. Second free throw, no good. It's a 5-point lead. Pittman, the senior, has it stolen away by Marshall. Here comes Matthews. Good play by Clarence Rich. Matthews, if he makes a dunk there, that can almost end the ball game right there because it really lifts up your team. And Matthews has not been shooting well from the free throw line. Clarence Rich with a hard foul, only a second. Make Matthews earn it from the line.
You have to make that play. When I was coming up, the player closest to the guy who dunked the ball got ridiculed after. You got dunked on, even if you weren't fouling the guy, if you were the closest.
And that was a good foul. It wasn't a cheap foul either. He didn't try to undercut him or anything. Went up and he grabbed him. Give him no chance. And again, Matthews misses the free throw. So IPFW picks up at least 1 point here. The second one, way strong. So that was a terrific play by Clarence Rich. One of those free throws went about 13 feet, and the other one went about 17 feet.
It wouldn't have counted. He didn't call bank, so I don't think it would have counted.
Gibson with the spin move off the glass, no good. Here comes Matthews. Here comes the dunk. I guarantee it. Two-handed slam. That makes it a 72-65 game. We used to call that cherry picking when you're standing down there not playing defense. But if you make the bucket, coach doesn't care. Smithy breaks the press, gets it to Tony Martin. There's the basket. 5 minutes to go. Don's down by 5, 72-67. As we've said on other telecasts, you can't trade baskets when you're behind late in the ball game. The defense is going to have to create some turnovers for IPFW. And now, Matthews, 8-footer off the glass, no good. Rushed that shot a little. I think Northern Kentucky might have wanted to run a little clock there. Tony Martin pulled it down, gets it over to Smithy. And up top, Martin.
If I'm IPFW, Randy, Matthews is going to beat me from the free throw line. You've seen he's been very, very erratic at the free throw line tonight, and you know he's going to have the basketball down the stretch, so he's going to beat me from the free throw line.
Ball out of bounds to IPFW. He's looking sort of like, you ever see a guy, Chris Dudley on the New Jersey Nets? He shot about 33% last year. At halftime of a game, they got a fan and put him in blindfold, and the guy shot better than Dudley did from the free throw line. It was great. I think he missed something like 11 or 15 in a row one night in the game. Smithy for 3. Both arms in the air. That one's good. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point ball game. Jeff Smithy with his biggest basket of the evening. 4:15 to go. Northern Kentucky leads at 72-70, and they're going to call a timeout. The Norsemen and decide how to handle this last 4:17 of the ball game. One thing we'd like to remind you, College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our program. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to College Cable Access Center at IPFW, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805-1499, or if you've got a mind to, give us a call at 481-6582. You got any comments? We'll appreciate those as well. Here's the replay. Watch Smithy put up this shot. Smithy's got to make the 3. Says, I'm wide open. Perfect rotation on the ball. Bam. Dialing long distance.
And that was created by punching the ball inside, drawing the players to the driver, and then passing it right back out.
That usually works. It's been really an odd game. Both teams taking turns getting hot for short stretches. 3-4 minutes here, one team will rip off 6 8 points. Boom, the other team comes back, rips off 6 or 8 points. It's going to be one of those who gets hot in the last couple of minutes will win this one.
There you go. We've talked about those types of things before, the very beginning of the game, the end of the half, the beginning of the second half, and then the end of the basketball game. And right now we're at that 4-minute stretch at the end of the game.
I did get lucky with one thing, though, Charlie. With 16 minutes to go, I said this was going to be nip and tuck the whole way. It's still a 2-point ball game. Pangelo drives the lane. He gets the basket. IPFW is going to have to play better defense here. Down 4, 74-70. Under 4 minutes to go in the ball game. Shears gets it across the timeline. Picks up the dribbles. Got to get rid of it now. Finds Smithy. Smithy, no look pass to Clarence Rich. That was a beauty. Seabiscuit with the bucket. He's up around 20 points now.
21.
He's over 20 points now. Look at that. 74-72. The Norsemen still lead it. Got to get a turnover here. Got to force a bad shot. Good pass, Pangelo to Aubrey, who just gets hammered there. Excuse me, that was Marbury. Just gets hammered by Sean Gibson. Great pass there. Look at Sean come over. That's a good foul, though. Don't want to give up the easy layups right now. Sean's got 3, so he's not in too much foul trouble. Is Ron Marbury a good free throw shooter, Charlie?
Tad under 70%, 69.6.
That's pretty good. Hits his first one. And they look good on it. The thing I always check for when they shoot free throws, if they bend their knees when they shoot. Usually guys who shoot the ball really stiff are not good free throw shooters.
And at this point of the basketball game, if you're not using legs,
that's right.
You're not going to make
that
that
shot. Strength is coming from. In perfect form there by Marbury. And he shows as he hits it 2 right dead center. That's a 4-point lead again for the Norsemen. Gibson having trouble with the ball inside, gets tied up by Pangelo, but the ball stays with IPFW on the possession rule. Pass a little low for Sean at 6'8". Got to bend way down to get that thing.
And Smithy already has a low center of gravity, and he got caught in the air.
Shears just gets it in before the 5-second count. Deep to Rich. Smithy up top. Could be thinking 3-pointer here. Seabiscuit driving. Across to Martin. Back out to Rich. 25 on the shot clock. Shears up top. Way over to Martin. Got to get something in a hurry here. 15 on the shot clock. Smithy driving towards the right corner. Goes in, takes the short jumper. No good. And Matthews comes down with the rebound. And I think we're going to see Northern Kentucky really try to milk the clock here. They may not get it across the timeline. 1 second.
IPFW did a good job of making the Norsemen play defense, but they still did not come up with a good shot. I think there's a lack of movement and continuity on that last sequence.
I think Clarence Rich needs to get aggressive here. Think 3-pointer. Pangelo with a real fast shot there. They had about 30 seconds left on the shot clock, but they steal it back. His shot this time is no good, and Tony Martin with another foul. That could have been a big break for IPFW, but it turned out not to be. Pangelo took a very bad shot, an early shot and not a good shot, but the Norseman stole the ball away, and now Pangelo gets fouled and we get 2 free throws. Here you see Smithy trying to dribble between 3 guys, and that just doesn't work. There's Tony Martin over the back with the foul, his 4th.
And even with Smithy being the best ball handler on the team, you cannot dribble the ball out of a triple team. If you have 3 guys on you, that means up court there's 2 guys guarded by no one.
Pangelo hits his first free throw, makes it a 5-point lead with 2:12 to go. Tony Martin goes out. John Honstrider checks in for the Dons. Jeff Smithy also on the bench after dribbling into 3 guys. Mike Pittman, the senior, in. Pangelo's second free throw, no good. Northern Kentucky, if it had shot its free throws better, would have a huge lead right now. Dons got to be thinking some 3-pointers about this time of the ball game. Pittman and Rich. There's Rich for 3. No. And Marbury comes down with the rebound. Pangelo is just going to walk it across. Looking at the time. Gets it across. Matthews up top now. Foul him. Just foul that guy quick. He hasn't made a free throw in a month, I think. At least not tonight. Pangelo outside, drives middle. Pulls up for the 4-footer. And it goes. 7-point lead, 79-72, a minute 20 to go in the ball game. Pittman outside, gets it into Hanstrider, kicks it back out to Pittman, dials up the long one, no good. Gibson with the rebound. He's thinking three, inside to Shears, over to Hanstrider. They're going to call a foul underneath on number 44, David Marshall. So 2 free throws coming up for Dwayne Shears.
A few moments ago, Randy, you said foul Matthews. You said it facetiously.
No, I was serious about it.
Yes, that is a great foul. The man's made maybe 1 out of 8 free throws tonight. You have to foul him.
Oh, no question. You've got to foul him. I may have had a bit of a sarcastic tone on that, but I really did mean that. You got to foul him. Shears' first free throw is good. 79-73, Dons trail by 6, a minute to 11 to go in the second half. Second one by Shears is up, in and out and in again. 5-point ball game, minute 10 to go. Pangelo, feel ya. Norsemen have some ball handlers in there now, taking out the big guys. Over to Matthews, foul him. Can't get to him. As soon as he touches the ball, you got to foul. Now they foul Pangelo.
A 74% shooter.
Though he's looked not so great from the line tonight either. See how he does down the stretch. Fouls on Mike Pittman, his second. Pangelo goes to the line shooting 2. Again, both teams are over the double limit. After 7, you get 1 and 1. After 10 fouls now and a half, everything's 2 shots. Pangelo's first one is perfect. He's looking like an 80% free throw shooter on that one. 6-point lead, 58 seconds to go. Make it a 7-point lead for the Norsemen. Pittman quickly to Shears. Can't take the 3. Pittman won't try either. Now he will. Partially blocked. Catches the front of the rim. Hanstrider underneath with the rebound. Timeout. Cuts it to 5. 81-76. 46 seconds to go. I still say you got to foul Marshall.
Matthews.
Yeah, Marshall's a good free throw shooter. Excuse me. 44. Before we go, we'd like to tell you this. We at IPFW are pleased to be able to bring you cablecasts of athletic competition. We hope you've enjoyed the games and excitement of intercollegiate sports at IPFW. But to provide such programs, we need your support. With the help of student workers and volunteers like Charlie and myself, we're able to produce these programs at a relatively low cost. Your contribution will help to defray the production costs not covered by the university budget. College Cable Access at IPFW invites you to invest in quality college programming by sending your contribution to the College Cable Access Center at IPFW, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805-1499. Anything you can send along will definitely be appreciated.
We need the contributions. ESPN just called us this morning. A package deal. Randy and I, if we need the money so we can stay here.
And that's where you make the check out to Indiana Purdue Foundation at Fort Wayne. Again, send it right here to College Cable Access Center at IPFW, and that check you make it out to IPFW at Fort Wayne and designated for College Cable Access Athletics. Certainly appreciate it. 46 seconds to go. We'll set the scene for you. Dons trail Northern Kentucky 81-76. Northern Kentucky with the ball. Marbury inbounds it to Pangelo. They try to foul him. It's not called. Marshall's got the ball now. He'll dribble around. Clarence Rich is going to hack him. Let's check out David Marshall from the free throw stripe.
81%.
Not the man you want to foul. I'm still trying to figure out who was the third lefty on the team. And then we had Marshall and Pangelo.
It's someone on the bench.
Oh, well, that helped. There's Marshall with the left-handed shot. See why he's an 81% free throw shooter. Makes it a 6-point ball game. Marshall's second free throw is up. That one's good too. By the way, Clarence Rich has 3 fouls right now. Pittman quickly across. Are they thinking three-pointer just about every time down? Shears does. Hits it. Timeout Dons. Cuts it to 4 points. 83-79. 31 ticks of the clock left in the second half. There's still a chance.
I think if we can get the ball in Matthews' hand, which is not, that far out of reach because you think that they get the ball to him being their top scorer, but they probably know that he's a 63% free throw shooter and about 1 out of 8 tonight, so they may be trying to keep the ball from him.
They definitely have been avoiding it.
Yes, but if we can funnel that ball to him, get him on the line the way he's been shooting, there's still a chance.
Well, in order for the Dons to keep their record of winning seasons going, they've had 20 wins the last 2 seasons. Well, here's what they're going to have to do.
We have to shoot better. Our decision making has to get, I say, more mature in that sometimes panic sets in late in the second half where we're not adjusting very well to what the other team's doing defensively. Our intensity level on defense has to come up and stay up the whole game, not spas. We have to play harder. We have a lot of, obviously with only one senior, we have everybody back next year, but we're not looking for next year. We're looking at Thursday and Saturday. We want to get better and better every game, and we're just taking it one game at a time, 1 week at a time in preparation, and not looking at March right now.
You know, one thing too, Charlie, that I've noticed a lot this year, in the past 3 seasons, IPFW's defense, especially the press, has really taken its toll on other teams, but hasn't seemed to be as effective this season.
Exactly. In essence, the past few years, their defense has been their offense.
Right, creating a lot of turnovers and easy buckets. And that's how you win ball games. You get those 3 extra layups a game, and that's your margin of victory. Foul is on Sean Gibson, his 4th. Here's the man we want at the line, number 30, Jimmy Matthews.
And I think Coach Piazza may realize that you've seen tonight the Dons have not pressed as much as they have in the past. They've kind of switched off on the press and just slacking back into the half-court defense.
First free throw by Matthews, guess what? Not close. Now watch his knees, watch his legs. He doesn't bend them, he's very stiff. And like Charlie was saying earlier, when you don't bend your legs at the end of the game, you're tired and you're just throwing it up there, and he misses 2. Shears driving. Kick it out for the 3. No, he hits the jumper. Another timeout. Shears having a nice game off the bench tonight. 22 seconds to go. We got us a ball game. 83-81. Dons only down by 2. If I were Northern Kentucky's coach, I would take Matthews out of the ball game right
Randy, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Even though he is their leading scorer, he's just not hitting free throws tonight. Either that or you send him all the way down to the end of the court and just keep him out of the play. You just can't allow him to get the balls right now. It becomes a psychological barrier more than anything, really, doesn't it, Charlie?
Exactly. And at this point, you don't need the scoring. You're up to with 22 seconds. You don't need the scoring. You need good free throw shooters in there because you know the Mastodons are going to come at you and foul. So right now, you can't worry about Mr. Matthews' ego. You have to sit him down and put a good free throw shooter in there.
It's definitely psychological. You missed 1 or 2, that's no big deal. But all of a sudden, he's missed about 6 in a row, and you go up there thinking, what do I have to do to make one? You start thinking instead of just playing. And you can't do that when you're out on the court. And that's what practice is for. That's not what the games are for. Again, it's 83-81. The Dons trailing Northern Kentucky by 2. 22 seconds to go. You know what we haven't seen in the game tonight? I just realized Pat Murphy didn't get the warm-ups off tonight.
I think the only Don besides Andy Liebert not to play.
Liebert not dressed this evening. Foul on John Honstrider. Nobody agrees with that one because it was right in front of IPFW's bench. Andy Liebert not dressed tonight. He must be injured or sick. He's got a coat on there. It looks like he got in Augusta, Georgia, one of those green jackets that you get when you win the Masters.
Apparently, Andy Piazza or John Felski did not call Andy Liebert to tell him to wear the Navy blue
tonight. That's right. Marshall at the line, shooting 2, 81% free throw shooter. Just swished a couple. Hits his 3rd in a row. Smithy checks in for Honstrider. Getting the good shooters in. We're going to take another look at that foul called on John Honstrider that the coaches were going nuts about. And we couldn't quite see it there. Marshall's 2nd free throw bounces way up and in. That is a big free throw because that makes it a 4-point game. Now a 3-pointer cannot tie it. Shears for 3, nothing. Air ball. 13 seconds to go. IPFW down by 4. Northern Kentucky calls a timeout. Little strange call there. I'm surprised Northern Kentucky called a timeout because now you let IPFW set up the defense.
Exactly. And the big advantage for the Norse, it's a two-possession game right now. A three-pointer will not tie it.
Yeah, that last free throw by Marshall, it hit the back of the rim and bounced up to the top of the backboard, maybe even over the glass a little, and fell straight through. And you know what we call that.
The shooter's bounce.
Shooter's touch. "13 seconds to go, Charlie. What's Andy Piazza saying to his troops?"
Find Mr. Matthews and foul him.
You got to do that. He is not. He could not throw it in the ocean tonight, as to pull out an old cliche there. He just is really struggling from the line. He's really struggled all night. 17 points a game. He's got about 10 right now, but. The next live sports event on Channel 6 will be telecast this coming Saturday evening, February 2nd. We'll have the Lady Pumas from St. Joe's meeting the Lady Dons at 6, and at 8, men, the Mastodons take on the Greyhounds of the University of Indianapolis. Saturday at 6 and 8 o'clock. We've got a foul on the inbounds play. They get Mike Pittman, his third foul. Pangella will go to the line and shoot 2.
As we see the sparse crowd get sparser.
And very quiet. Pangella with the lefty push shot, good. Now it's a 5-point lead with 12 seconds to go. Second one's up, short. Gibson rebounds it to Shears. Over to Gibson for 3. No good. Rebound by Filia.
Personal foul on IPFW. Number 12, Clarence Richards, fourth personal foul. Going to the line for 2 shots.
And that's sending him scurrying for the exits, Charlie. 2 seconds to go. Northern Kentucky leads at 86-81. Filia at the line, he'll shoot 2.
Hasn't been pretty, but I'm sure the Norsemen will take it.
Anytime you get a conference win on the road, you've got to be happy. First one is good.
And this win would have been extremely large for either team because they've both been struggling as of late.
Second one is good as well. 2 ticks left. Gibson, Smithy throws up the long one. No good. Final score, Northern Kentucky wins it 88-81. The Dons dropped to 9-8 overall, 2-6 in the conference. Northern Kentucky will boost its record to 10-8 and 3-5 in the GLVC. Very disappointed Andy Piazza walking off the court tonight. Thought his team really had a good chance to win this game, and the Dons did, leading by 2 at the half, leading by 2 late in the ball game. But things did not go well down the stretch, Charlie.
Yeah, well, they came out like gangbusters, and somewhere we lost the spark, and we could not find it. And you have to give the Norsemen credit. Again, they came in on the road, struggling as of late, and came in and took this basketball game from the Mastodons.
And IPFW blew out to an early lead, 20-8. Everything was going perfectly, but it fell apart. Still a 2-point lead at the half and had the lead late in the second half, but couldn't win it tonight. Some good games individually, good play individually for IPFW. Clarence Rich, though, again, a little quiet in the second half as compared to his first half. Sean Gibson also was very strong this evening.
As we stated earlier in the game, Sean Gibson leads the GLVC in rebounding, and I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm sure he got his 9 tonight, which he's averaging just a tad under 10 he's averaging for the season, and that leads to GLVC, so he had another great game.
And, of course, before we go, we have one last thing to do. We have to pick a Dandy Don player of the game.
Well, I'm going to go co-Dandy Don player of the game, Mr. Clarence Rich and Mr. Sean Gibson.
Yeah, I think we can split it there tonight. We want to remind everybody to join us again on Saturday night. The women play at 6 o'clock against the Lady Pumas of St. Joe. And then at 8 o'clock, Charlie and I will bring you the men's game. And the Dons will take on the University of Indianapolis. That's this Saturday, 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. The women at 6, the men at 8. The final again tonight. IPFW, a loser to Northern Kentucky, 88-81. Glad you can join us here on College Cable Access Channel 6. This is Randy Schiffman for Charlie Washington saying, hope we see you Saturday night. Good night, everybody.